Hey everybody, it's April 2nd, Sunday, and it's the Sunday Sports Show. Unbreakable Spirits here. And this is Greg, and that was Bud who just left the room. Hey, Katie's around too. We might get a guest appearance from her. We'll see. Oh, there's a lot to talk about today with sports, especially Philly sports. So let's get right at it. I got to talk about the Phillies first. And yes, I'm disappointed in the Phillies 0-2 start. Aren't we all? But here's the thing. I'm more disappointed in the way they lost the games than the fact that they lost. They have lost now 11 games in a row to Texas. But for some reason, Texas has their number. And so I don't know what it is about Texas. I don't know why they can't beat them. Players change. They just seem to have the Phillies number. I don't know what it is. But I'm more concerned about the way the Phillies lost. I mean, the Phillies playing sloppy ball, the errors, base running mistakes. The pitching was horrible. Goddard started pitching, especially the bullpen. I don't know what's going on with the Phillies, right? Coming out of spring training, I thought that they'd be a little better prepared for the season. Some people may be saying, what were they doing down in spring training? Some were disorganized, or confused. Maybe it's just a bad start. What can we say? We have to give it time. I know it's easy to say it's only 2 games, blah, blah, blah. I get that. I'm as frustrated as you guys, probably. But it is only 2 games. So let's look at it this way. Phillies could win tonight. They play over in Texas. Win in Yankee Stadium, come home. They've got 6 games at home. Be right back on the trip. Okay? So I just am more confused and concerned about what's going on with the team as far as the pitching is concerned. Let's break it down. Let's start with Aaron Nola. Aaron Nola looked great first 3 innings. Phillies stayed into 5-0 lead, and you would think that would be enough to win. All of a sudden, he hit a wall. 4th inning, he just ran out of gas. Totally ran out of gas. So to me, there's a few reasons for it. So I was listening, of course, to WIP Sports Radio, and of course, a lot of followers calling on Twitter, saying, get rid of him, don't give him a contract extension, blah, blah, blah. He's a bum. Well, first of all, Aaron Nola isn't a bum. Doesn't stink. He had bad too. And there could be a few reasons for this. Number one, you have to ask yourself, is all the innings he pitched, it was a great thing that we made it to the World Series last year. But the one downfall is all these players, especially the pitchers, pitched a lot of innings last year, including postseason. Are they still a little bit worn from a short off season, spring training, and the season? Don't forget, Aaron Nola pitched a week, about 9 weeks, 5 days before the season began. In spring training, had a bad outing. That wasn't a good sign. Hi, Katie. Because you like to come out of spring training ready to go, right? Ready to go. And if you look at it, more often than not, pitchers, especially coming out of spring training, who haven't had a good spot training, do not have a good recovery of the season. I mean, there's no magic switch that's going to turn on and turn off the player's performance. Just because the season was started doesn't mean that all of a sudden they get good. So in that way, we shouldn't have been surprised. Even though the weather was warm down in Texas, where they were playing this weekend, don't forget, Aaron Nola thrives in heat and humidity. When it gets hot, The Muggy in Philadelphia, that's what he pitches as this bar. Because he's from Louisiana, I pitch for LSU, and that's his MO. Another reason could be, maybe he's got the contract as mine. It's a shame that the Phillies did not extend him. But maybe the Phillies did the right thing, I'd hate to see Nola hit the free agent market because there's going to be some team out there that's going to throw a bunch of money at him, like he's going to, but to me still, Aaron Nola is a good pitcher. He's not a great pitcher, he's not an ace. He's a good pitcher. Just like you, I'm waiting for Aaron Nola to break out from there, have like an 18-game one season and really break out, and it hasn't happened. And maybe it won't. But he did pitch the most innings of any pitcher last year. So he's a workhorse. He gives you the innings. He'll generally get you into the 6th, 7th inning, which is sort of the max where most pitchers go anyway these days. So I like Aaron Nola. He just it's the old bugaboo with him, 2 strikes, home runs, 2 strikes, and put one in the dirt. He lays one right over the plate. Whole story with Aaron Nola. You would think he would learn from him. And I think maybe that's just what happened on Thursday. Let's see how he does this next time out. He's dragging his arm again. It looks like he could have a sore arm. He's tired. The other thing to take note of too is the pitch clock. Aaron Nola was a notorious slow worker. Walk around the mound, rub up the ball, that's Aaron Nola. And now he even admitted the pitch clock is going to take some to get used to. So is that it too? That's probably more likely than anything else. Maybe physically it tired Nola out. He's not used to that. And mentally it got on his nerves. On his mind that, I got to pitch the ball. How many seconds do I have left? This is going to happen to everybody. The advantage of if you had a pitcher before the pitch clock who worked really fast, they have the advantage over you, right? Most pitchers are going to have to adjust to the pitch clock until they get used to it. I mean, that's just the way I like. The pitch clock is here to stay. And I like the pitch clock. It's sped up the games. And it's just something that the pitchers are going to have to be used to, especially a guy like Aaron Nola. Zach Wheeler, I just think he threw too many pitches over the car to play. I mean, Zach Wheeler is best when he's at the corners and he throws his high fastball and that was chasing. I mean, that's Zach Wheeler. Zach Wheeler gets into problems and no matter how good his fastball is, and they said his fastball was ranging times in 93, 94. That's not too good. Zach Wheeler should be mid-90s and declining. So again, we ask ourselves, is he tired? Pitch clock problems, he's another one who has to adjust to pitch clock. Is there something wrong with the arm? Or is it just a matter of fact that he just laid too many balls over the heart of the plate? And the Rangers count. Whatever happens, the Phillies pitching has to get it together. I mean, we have Bailey Falter pitching tonight as the number 3. I mean, who would ever thought that Bailey Falter was going to be number 3? Ranger Suarez, we hope he comes back soon. We don't know what's going on with him. They need Ranger Suarez to come. I don't like the fact that he was complaining of tightness in his forearm. That means perhaps a proportion of Tommy John. We don't want to think about that. But Andrew Painter probably isn't going to be ready until summertime. Lyle Walker, I don't know why he didn't start today. Just to save him for the guy these elections. But it is concerning. It is concerning. Bailey Falter pitched great in the postseason last year. Is he your number 3 starter? I don't think so, but we'll see. We'll see. The thing is, the Phillies have got to hit. Okay. The Phillies have got to hit. We know that this team is built on ground offense. They haven't gotten enough home runs. They haven't gotten enough key hits early in the season yet. And this team is going to have that slow. Other teams, 9 to 8, 5 to 8 teams. That's just the way it is. The Trey Turner in the lineup, Bryce Harper coming back for the scene. The Phillies offense should be a well-oiled machine. And you're going to have to out-hit him. So we know that. And so far, the Phillies really haven't hit like they should. I mean, they scored those 5 runs in the opening game against the Rangers, and then they shut it down. They scored only 3 runs yesterday. They shut it down. Let's talk about the bullpen. The bullpen sucks so far. Okay, so far. Everybody who came in the last 2 days pretty much got rocked. From Sir Anthony yesterday. Maybe the situation was with him was that he was in a non-save situation. So maybe that played with his mind a little bit and he got rocked. We hope that he's not one of the guys who pitched 2 innings last year. Although I don't think so. I mean, coming off of Tommy John surgery, they were pretty careful with Sir Anthony. But, you know, Alvarado looked okay. We haven't seen Kimbrel yet. Gregory Soto was waste. You got to hope that he gets it together. I mean, his bugaboo with the Tigers was he couldn't throw strikes, control. And I hate to think that we gave up a lot of depth, Matt Vierling and Nick Gaetan for Soto. And if Soto turns out to be a bust. Vierling and Gaetan, I really like Gaetan especially. I thought if they would give him a chance to play, I think he could build a regular on the team. But, you know, let's see. They were expendable. The Phillies have some other bench guys. We just got to hope that Soto turns out to be the relief pitcher that we hope he would be. I mean, he did make the All-Star team last year, but he does throw hard. I mean, that's the Phillies I know to get these pitchers who throw hard. Katie agrees. Will they throw strikes? We hope so. And will they be effective? We hope so. So the bullpen concerns me more than the starters. I think the starters will come around, but the bullpen concerns me. Let's see how they do tonight. It's going to be an interesting situation. We got the Phillies playing tonight against the Rangers on ESPN. We got the Sixers playing. No, sorry, the Phillies are not playing these coming tonight. The Phillies are playing the Rangers on. Unless I'm sure it was at Fox, and I don't. It is. I guess it is ESPN. I was right the first time. ESPN Sunday Night Baseball. And then you've got the Sixers playing tonight. So what are you going to watch? To me, even though I'm a big Phillies fan, as you could see, I'm going to watch the Sixers. Why? Because it's a big game. They're playing against the Bucks. We're talking about it. Before we get out of baseball, I wanted to mention C.B. Buckner, the umpire this year, was a total disgrace. Why is this guy still in baseball? Why is he still umpiring in baseball? We know that C.B. Buckner is terrible as an umpire, especially in balls and strikes umpire. I mean, which is worse, Angel Hernandez or C.B. Buckner, right? He made a lot of bad calls or something. Not only against the Phillies, but the Rangers too. And you got to ask yourself, why is he still in major leagues, right? I mean, Major League Baseball has got to do something about the umpire. I don't I don't want the robo umpires, but after watching a guy with CB Buckner yesterday, you gotta wonder, maybe robot umpires would be an improvement, right? I don't like it because it takes too much of the human factor out of that game. And I think we've got enough of that going on in baseball right now. Um, CD Buckner is a disgrace. And let's just hope that the Phillies don't have him too many series this year. So baseball in general, before we leave that topic, the Braves have gotten off to a great start. They're 2-0, but we thought that was going to happen against the shows. The Mets are 2-1. And looking in the other divisions, Twins are off to a good start. But most of the other divisions are pretty close. The Rays, Zach Eflin pitched yesterday for the Rays, gave him 5 good innings. I like Zach Eflin. I agree that Phillies should not have given him as much money as he got from Tampa Bay. But I just think there should have been a way to keep Zach. Would you have rather see Zach Eflin pitch game 3 tonight against the Rangers or Bailey Falter? And for some reason, Dave Dabrowski didn't like Zach. I get it that Zach Eflin had a lot of injury woes over the years, but when he was healthy, he was a good, consistent pitcher. Either out in the bullpen, look what he did last year. The Phillies asked him to be a closer because they were running out of healthy people in the bullpen. And the guy became a closer and actually did a decent job into the postseason. Now, in the postseason, he got rocked, and then Sir Anthony proceeded to become a closer in count. But Zach Miller did what he was asked to do, and he did a good job for the most part. So I missed that. That's Wheeler, and I think the Phillies are going to miss him too. But anyway, so we see in baseball that it's going to be very, very interesting to watch all these changes, larger bases. We already seen an increase in stolen bases in the leagues. And the pitch clock is going to be at a point all season long until people get used to the pitch clock. We haven't seen too much about the base running rule. So it's going to be a very interesting season. One thing that I want to point out, which I called my friend Steve Trevelise or WIP Sports Radio, and I try to call him every Friday or night to chat a little bit. He's moved his hours instead of 2 to 5, it's now 2 to 6. And I know that's a little tougher on me too, because it means instead of calling at 3, like I usually like to do, like to secure the show a little bit and call in, throwing my 2 cents. It was I call it 4 now, and it's tough. It's tough, but I like to talk to Steve, and so we'll keep doing what we need to do. But as I mentioned to him last Friday, about the major leagues, one thing that we're going to have to keep in mind is to keep an eye on the Angels. The reason I say that is because the Angels have Ohtani and Trout, probably the 2 best players in baseball, and they haven't gone anywhere. Well, here's the thing. Ohtani is going to be a free agent after this season. I doubt if the Angels are going to sign him, extend him. I wouldn't be surprised if the Angels get off to a bad start. They're 1-1 so far. They don't get to trade Ohtani before the trade deadline in July, so that they don't lose him for nothing. The Angels are smart. they would trade Otani, knowing that they're probably going to lose it at the end of the year and get a bunch of prospects back with Otani. Now, there's the Mets have a ton of money, and the Yankees, and they look like they would be the two teams that could be the leaders to get Otani. And of course, being in New York, they would get a lot of publicity. I mean, he's already a superstar here in America. He's a heck of a player. What a guy. He could play 99. He could strike out 10 riders like he did Friday night in Oakland. And he could hit 40 home runs a year, hit the ball 500 feet. I mean, who does that, right? It's incredible. So I could see Otani being traded to the Mets or the Yankees by the end of June. Now, where do the Phillies come into play in this? Because if the Angels start to clean house and they do trade Otani, is Mike Trout, is he close by? I mean, I would think not only the Angels would want to trade him to unload his contract and get him more prospects back, but I think Mike Trout would want to trade him too at that point. I would think he would say, you know what, enough of this. The Angels are in rebuild mode. I'm never going to get into the playoffs. I'm never going to get into the World Series. I'm already in my 30s. I had enough of this. And the logical team Trout would go to would be the Phillies. I mean, he's a local kid. He would be a natural in Philadelphia. Imagine Mike Trout playing the same outfield with Bryce Harper. I mean, that's unreal. You could hit Trout, Trey Turner first, lead off. Bryce Harper second, Mike Trout third. I mean, is there any better 1, 2, 3 punch in baseball? No. And I don't know what the Phillies would have to give up for Trout. Probably the farm, certainly a Painter, a couple other some pitchers. Maybe Noah would go in the trade. He's, if the Phillies aren't going to sign him, maybe Noah goes in the trade for Trout along with a big package. I don't know, but I can see the Phillies doing it because the Phillies are in windmill mode. With Degrassi and Parker and Realmuto aren't getting any younger. I would think the Phillies are going to go all out to win the out. Okay, to get Trout on the team, and he would play with Harper for the next 8 to 9 years. I mean, I would say that's great. Who doesn't want to see Mike Trout every single day with Philadelphia? I mean, think of that. Just because we didn't have a good World Baseball players, it doesn't mean Mike Trout stinks. Mike Trout does not stink. He's one of the best players, not only now, but of all time. So I wouldn't be opposed to that, but watch the Angels because if they start to lose, they're going to start tanking. That could be a possibility. So let's talk about the Sixers a little bit before I run out of time. Sixers have a big game tonight against the Bucks in Milwaukee. Sixers right now are underdogs by 5. The last time I looked at the line, I would take the Sixers if I was a wagering man, but I think the Bucks are going to win it. Why? Couple reasons. Number one, last time the Sixers played the Bucks, the Sixers beat them in Milwaukee on Saturday night, and I think the Bucks got revenge there going into the playoffs. I also think because the Bucks got buried by 41 points by Boston on Thursday, the Bucks are going to come out and they're going to come out and they want to prove a point. They lost by 41 at home. They've had a few days to rest up. I think the Bucks are going to come in strong. Sixers have to withstand the first quarter and the first half. If the Sixers stay close into the second half, the Sixers have a good chance of winning. With Embiid, you always have a good chance of winning. And I think one thing you have to keep in mind, I think both Giannis and Embiid are going to have great games tonight. Embiid always steps up on national TV, a big challenge like this against Giannis. Embiid's going to be angry because he was criticized for not playing against Jokic early in the week. It's the Joker, and I think Embiid's going to prove the point. It's coming down to the end of the season. Who's going to win the MVP? I don't believe Embiid when he says he doesn't care about the MVP. He does care. So I think he's going to want to prove the point. I think he's going to have a big game. Giannis is going to have a big game. And I think even then the Bucks are going to win. I think the Sixers cover the spread. I think it's going to be a close game. And I think the Bucks win. It's not going to kill the Sixers if they lose. The Sixers are pretty much locked into the number 3 spot in the East, which means that, and they probably play the Brooklyn Nets in the first round of playoffs. They could beat the Nets. And then they would probably play the Boston Celtics. That's another story there. Boston is 3-0 against the Sixers so far this year. Boston comes into Philadelphia on Tuesday night to get the Sixers. Another big game. It may not affect the standings, but it does mean a lot because if Boston sweeps the season series, they're going to go in with a lot of momentum, especially if they have to play the Sixers in the second round this year. Sixers need to beat the Celtics just to prove a point that, hey, we could beat this too. Celtics are good because, I hate to say that, they shoot the threes. They just kill the Sixers with the three-point shooting. And the Sixers have not been able to defend the three this season. So let's see what happens. But first things first, Sixers Bucks tonight should be a great game. James Harden is complaining about his Achilles again. And this is the reason why, even though James Harden has played great this year, but I'm not a James Harden fan, but I give him all the credit in the world. He's played great. But he's changed his game. He's become more of a point guard. I don't like the turnovers, but he leads the league. He assists. He has set the beat up. He has set Maxey up. He has played a team game this year. All credit to James Harden, but I would not resign him, extend him to a large contract. I wouldn't do it because of his age factor, his injury prone. Will James Harden give you the same amount of energy? Will he play is motivated when he has a big picture? Which James Harden will we going to see once he gets his money? So I just wouldn't do, the Sixers have sort of painted themselves into a corner by not having a young point guard in the team. That's what they need. Maxey's a good lead guard, off guard, shooting guard, whatever you want to say. They need a point guard, just like James Harden, for the younger version of James Harden. That's what they need on the team, as well as a power forward that indeed. Paul Reed has really given them a lot of good minutes lately. He's getting a chance to play, and he's showing Doc Rivers what he can do. But anyway, James Harden, I would not extend him. I think he will be extended because he is really good friends with Daryl Morey, GM, and I think it's going to happen. But would I extend him? No, I don't. Couple final things. The Eagles. Well, the next big thing about the Eagles is the draft. And the draft will be coming up in a couple of weeks. And I think the big thing about the Eagles is what are they going to do with the number 10 pick? I wouldn't be surprised if they traded out of that pick, either that pick or the number 30 pick. Howie Roseman likes to get picks, and I think if they traded out of those picks, because the Eagles do not have third, fourth round, fifth round picks, and they could fill some needs there by moving down in the draft. If they traded out of 10, perhaps they'd go down to 14, 15, still get a player that they like, but pick up some extra picks. I would like the John Robinson, running back from Texas, but I agree. I would not take him at number 10. The running backs are maybe on this three, and taking at 10, I don't think it's a good idea. The one thing about Robinson, though, is he can catch the ball, and that's what the Eagles used to running backs for. Swing him out in backfield, gets the ball. If Robinson drops to maybe 16 and the Eagles drop Gingham, okay, maybe you take a chance on him now. But would I take him with Love and Chad? No. I'm going Garrett Wayne out there in Alabama running back who is a good running back who you can take maybe with the 30th, maybe in the second round. We'll see. But I agree with so many independents who say don't take Robinson at 10. I know it's boring to talk about taking a lineman, defensive or offensive. I think that's what you got to do. To me, even though they signed Bradbury and Slade, I would take a quarterback. I would. I think the Eagles need a young quarterback. I know they need help in the second. I mean, it's a passing league, right? So you're going to be facing some really good quarterbacks this year. Josh Allen from Buffalo. So I feel a little woozy today, so it's not clear it's just so. They're facing Allen this year. They're facing Pat Mahomes again, out in Kansas City, and going to be facing some good quarterbacks this year, as opposed to last year. So it's always going to help to have some secondary help, extra help in the secondary. The one thing I don't want, okay, Cowboys to 26. I don't want the Cowboys to end up with John Robinson. He's from the University of Texas. Cowboys are looking for a running back. He would be a perfect fit for the Cowboys. He would bring them another weapon. I wouldn't like the fact that the Cowboys traded up, which they might do to get Robinson. I wouldn't like the fact that Robinson falls down to number 26 when the Eagles maybe have a chance to take it. Remember the year when the Cowboys took CeeDee Lamb. And the Cowboys took first then, being ahead of the Eagles. But I was hoping the Eagles were going to trade up past Dallas, take CeeDee Lamb, walk in the mountain, and ended up with Dallas. And he's a pretty good receiver for Dallas. So to me, I don't want Robinson to end up on the Cowboys. I just think that would make them even more dangerous team than they are now. So if there's any way that either the Eagles or another team picks him before the Cowboys, that would be great. But just don't want to see him ending up in the ups. And I'm just afraid that may happen. I don't think he's going to fall apart. I wouldn't be surprised again if the Cowboys trade up to get one. Some other things tomorrow, NCAA final. Who would ever thought Connecticut playing San Diego State. And you gotta like Connecticut. I mean, this tournament has been full of upsets. So you could say San Diego State is going to win, right? Well, I was a little disappointed. I took Florida Atlantic to win, and they ended up losing. Heartbreaker, last second shot after Florida Atlantic was winning the entire game. In Miami, did not play well against UConn. UConn is really good. UConn has beaten everybody in the tournament that they played by double digits. So you would think UConn's going to win tomorrow. But the thing about San Diego State is they play great defense. And if they can keep the game in the 15s or even 16s, I think San Diego State has a shot. Problem is that UConn likes to play in 70s and 80s. And I don't know if San Diego State can stop them. Let's see what happens in the first few minutes of the game, the first half. If UConn has 40 to 50 points, high 30s at halftime, that's not a good sign for San Diego State. I don't know if they have the firepower to stay UConn. I think San Diego State is going to have to control the tempo of the game, make solid defense, like they usually do, and try to keep the game close. We'll see. That's been a hell of a tournament. It has been so many upsets, so many Cinderellas. It's been fun. Now, I know some people are wanting, we don't have the big games like Kansas's and North Carolinas and Kentucky's and Gonzaga's and UCLA's and fun. They had their shot to be there, they lost. There's a lot of parity in sports anymore, and a lot of parity in the NCAA stuff. And I think it's just something that we have to get used to. I think we're going to see more and more Cinderellas in the tournament, more and more parity, more and more teams that are upset other teams. So I think this is the sign of the future coming up in college sports too. Well, we covered a lot of sports today, Philly sports. Oh, I wanted to give you guys one more tip. Not that I'm a betting man, but I got to tell you something. Seems to be expected. Now that we're in baseball season, we don't have one in basketball. And I don't advocate gambling. Some people say like that. But I'm just saying, for entertainment purposes only, there's something to keep in mind. And what's that? Nothing to do with animals. So I play it. I'm old school. But it's interesting. I've noticed that if you have a good team playing a bad team, now it's got to be perfect. You have to have a good team playing at home. That's key. Against a bad team, playing on the road. Let's say it's a 3-game series. And you have a bad team upsets the good team first 2 games. Let them get the sweep. I've noticed more times than not that the good team in the final game of the series will almost always win that one game. Not only win it, but win it convincingly. So let's say the Phillies were a good team, although you wouldn't know it then. Let's say the Phillies are at home on the weekend and they're playing the Pirates. And the Pirates take the first 2 games, Friday and Saturday. And they're looking to sweep. Well, I would say 9 times out of 10, Phillies are going to take that same thing. Why? Because they're at home, they don't want to get upset, embarrassed by a bad team. And I just found that is good. Now, we almost had that scenario come up this weekend. San Diego Padres had lost the first couple of games against Colorado Rockies at I hope it's San Diego. We almost had that scenario come up, but it didn't. San Diego won last time. But it doesn't happen often. It's that maybe it happens a few times a year where the bad team will take the first couple of games of the series. And you have that scenario. But just look for it, okay? That's all I'm saying. Just keep an eye out for that scenario. And it's got to be perfect. You can't have the bad team at home. You can't have the good team winning the first game and losing the last two. No. That's not going to work. It's got to be the perfect scenario of the bad team playing on the road, winning the first two games of the series, and then losing big the last game. So just keep an eye out because I will. And let me know how you do it. Yeah. So, well, that's our Sunday podcast today. Look for me later in the week for my usual Unbreakable Spirit podcast, talking about some inspirational things, some topics of hope. That's the reason why we're here, to try to share a little hope with you guys and see if we could pass it forward. And so please look for that during the week. It's supposed to be a pretty nice week this week here, 75 degrees on Tuesday. Can't beat that. So I might get my little piece around on the deck and get a little sunshine, which I need. We picked up a little bit yesterday before we got those wicked storms that came through. Luckily, we were all safe here. I hope you guys were safe too. So I'm going to say goodbye for now. Brother's sleeping on the floor. Katie is somewhere in the house, who knows where. And we're going to see you guys soon, right? You guys have a nice Sunday. Watch your sports today. Hopefully the Phillies win tonight. Hopefully the Sixers win too. I'll see it. And it should be a good week. Phillies home opener coming up on Thursday against the Reds. Unfortunately, I don't have tickets to the opener. My first game is until the end of April, the afternoon game against the Seattle Mariners. I'm looking forward to that. The Mariners. I'll make the trip to Philadelphia very often, and I'm looking forward to seeing Julio Rodriguez in person. So that should be a good first game. So I hope you guys have a good week. And if you go to the opener Thursday, enjoy it. Hopefully the Phillies will have a better record on it. Okay. So we'll see you guys. You take care and stay with